I'll now call the Executive Committee meeting to order. This meeting is being held in person electronically in accordance with the Municipal Act. For the consent items, I'll read out the title associated with the recommended motions printed on the agenda to see if members of the committee would like to deal with them on consent or hold for discussion. Items that are not held will be deemed approved on consent with no further discussion. They will move forward to the next general committee meeting for consideration. Items 1.1 and 1.2 have been removed. We're now into 1.3, which is the illuminated display at City Hall for Remembrance Day.
Hold, please.
That's held by Deputy Mayor Thompson. Okay, that's 1.3 is held by Deputy Mayor Thompson. The strategic plan updates we will deal with afterwards. In other business, we have the referral 4.1, the motion 25G226 refer to general committee meeting on October 29th, 2025 regarding the four-way stop at Penville Trail and McIntyre Drive. Okay, that's approved on consent. We'll go to 1.3, and that was held by Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. I'll put the motion on the floor as printed. So I love the thought that anything that can promote our veterans and teach people about the history and everything in our community. My only fear is by putting at City Hall, I believe that we're drawing people away from the Legion and the Cenotaph, which is a competing interest. And there's the reference, and I had spoke with the sponsor of the motion, that the Cenotaph in the City of Toronto is actually at Old City Hall where the function happens. So that's why they've chosen that location. So I would love to see what this would look like, but I would just say that Staff and Recreation, Culture Service Department investigate the feasibility and cost of having an illuminated display somewhere in the city with consulting with the Royal Canadian Legion.
Okay, perfect. So there's an amendment on the floor. Sorry, did you put the original motion on the floor?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, great. The original motion was on the floor. It's now been amended to look at where to put the display and to consult, that was already in there, to consult with the Royal Canadian Legion for it. So that's good. Any questions or comments with regards to the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment? And it carries. Okay. We're going to move to strategic plan updates. And we have Mr. Schmidt going solo this evening. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall, and through you to members of the committee. So a few updates this evening to share with you. On the Performing Arts Center, so schematic design and costing work has been completed, and you will see a staff report with a project update and a virtual fly-through included on the December 10th General Committee agenda. We have, staff do not have an update on the sports field. As it relates to Lakehead University, Barrie Police Detachment has now been relocated across the street to 55 Mulcaster Street. Interior construction at 24 Maple Ave is currently underway, which some of you probably saw a couple weeks ago when the mayor had his press release there. And city staff continue to work with Lakehead University personnel to finalize required agreements, those being the funding agreement and MOU. No updates to share tonight on the Recreation Center. From the Sea Cadets in South Shore, the project team is currently finalizing the design package and expect to be in a position to submit a formal site plan application package by March of next year. And construction start is anticipated to commence in Q2 of next year, or as soon as weather allows for us to do so. And then the update for the library, the landlord has advised that they don't foresee any significant hurdles with the project. And they believe that they're on track for spring construction, and city and library staff are prepared to begin interior layout planning as soon as the expansion details are finalized. And those are my quick updates on the projects, Mayor Nuttall.
Is there any update on the encampment portion as well there, Mr. Schmidt?
I do, Mayor Nuttall, if you will. Update on the encampments. So since the implementation of the emergency order and following the last update presented to Executive Committee, which was on October 29th, the City of Barrie continues to make substantial progress in addressing encampments across the city. Working in partnership with the County of Simcoe and the Barrie Police Service, the city has successfully addressed 56 encampments on city-owned property. Additionally, county outreach efforts have resulted in 68 individuals transitioning from encampment to safe indoor accommodations. The County of Simcoe reports, and this is as of their November 24th HIFIS report, that 50 individuals are currently residing in encampments in Barrie. Some key outcomes since the emergency order was declared on September 9th include the following: reduced number of encampments in the City of Barrie on city-owned property from 35 to 9. And again, based on the most recent HIFIS report from November 24th, the county has indicated a reduction in recorded homelessness in Barrie from 619 to 584 individuals. The city has addressed one of its largest encampment areas, that being Milligan's Pond, and initiated proactive measures to restore the park and prepare the site for inclusion in the Conservation Land Trust. An encampment enforcement response team was established to proactively address encampments, which has successfully increased efficiency and effectiveness. City staff continue to strengthen collaboration and data sharing with the County of Simcoe, and the city continues to communicate its efforts with council and the residents of Barrie through the city's website at barrie.ca/addressing encampments. The city continues to review all known encampment locations with a focus on those considered high priority due to public safety risks. The city's approach to addressing encampments is determined by the availability of shelter options, which is expected to increase in the coming weeks as the county finalizes work at 113 Tiffin Street, where, of course, a 40-bed modular unit will be utilized to provide shelter and wraparound support to those experiencing homelessness in our community. And then finally, the city remains committed to a compassionate and coordinated response, working closely with our partners at the County of Simcoe, Barrie Police Services, and other community stakeholders. And that concludes my update, Mayor Nuttall. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Schmidt? I'll start with Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor Nuttall. Just a question on encampments, and I'm not sure if it's directly related or not, but since the removal of the encampments in the downtown core, which I think was obviously very positively received by the public and local business owners, I've heard and been aware of the increase in debris and garbage in front of storefronts and local businesses, and I'm just wondering if staff has heard that, and if there's any discussion or conversation either with the BIA or a plan in terms of how to address some of the increased debris that we're seeing on the downtown streets. And again, I'm not sure if that's related because the encampments were removed and now people don't necessarily have a place to put stuff, but just wondering if that's come up at all in any of the conversations and if there's a plan moving forward.
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Hamilton, I'm not aware of any additional debris that's in the downtown core. That said, staff can definitely look into it and utilize the resources that we have to try to assist with that.
Thank you. Perhaps I'll follow up then afterwards offline to discuss it, because I know it's been quite a big issue in the downtown. I've spoken to multiple business owners, so something I'll bring forward to staff offline, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Councillor Corser.
Thank you. Through you, Chair Nuttall, I'd like to ask a confirmation on the numbers, if I may. Could you read those out to me again, please?
Through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Corser. So Councillor Corser, first number was the city has successfully addressed 56 encampments on city-owned property since the emergency order, and 68 individuals have transitioned from encampments to safe indoor accommodations. The second, or the next figure was that the county reported as of November 24th that 50 individuals are currently residing in encampments. And again, that number obviously changes on a fairly frequent basis. Other than that, since the emergency order was declared on September 9th, there was 35 encampments at that time, and it's been reduced to 9. But again, that number can change. And the other number I guess I can share with you is that since the November, or as of November 24th, the HIFIS report indicated that there were there was a reduction in homeless individuals in Barrie from 619 to 584. Those are the numbers that I can share with you.
I was just wondering if you had any insight into trying to get the numbers wrapped around my head, because I know encampments are different how we define them as opposed to the county, et cetera. From the number of unhoused from 619 to 584, that's only a difference of 35.
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor Corser. So again, Councillor Corser, that's based on the HIFAS report that's provided to us from the county. So I'm happy to share further details as to what those numbers are made up of. But again, that's based on the data that the county is providing directly to us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And just, Councillor Corser, I think you have a good point. And I think that there's a piece of that we have to remember, that it's constantly moving, right? So if you start with 619, it doesn't mean no one else comes into your city homeless, right? Somebody could be in the city and then the next day be homeless. They weren't homeless the day before. It could be somebody from Collingwood or Alliston, or they could have got off of a bus or a train from Toronto or Northern Ontario. So it's not as easy as 619 being the total number, because it's constantly in flux. That could mean that the numbers changed overall in terms of the number of individuals. So while people are getting help, there's more people still coming in to the system and living on the street. Yeah.
Just to follow up with that, I know that I don't know if they include people who are maybe couch surfing and numbers like that.
That's actually right inside of those numbers.
Yeah.
When you look at what was the 619, I think at one point it was 689 or something in May. When you look back, it includes couch surfing, it includes those living in shelters, it includes those who are living in encampments, and then there's another category, and I'm just forgetting it, I apologize, in the hotel programs as well. So even though there's a roof over one's head, it doesn't, if you get a place in a hotel, until you're permanently placed, you're still considered homeless, right? So all those folks are still inside of those numbers. There's no permanent solution until there is. And the other piece is, I just want to actually follow up on some of your questions. The 40 beds on Tiffin Street that are coming online, what's our expected start date? It was originally going to be October, then it was going to be November, and it's December the 3rd. And
through you, Mayor Nuttall, the last update we had received was already passed 2 days ago. So I believe the latest is mid-month. But again, that date continues to change depending on status of trying to complete all of the requirements in order to get them up and ready to go. So I know there's been some conversations with city staff to ensure that we're doing all that we can to make sure that they can open up their doors as quickly as possible.
And with Youth Haven, I was told that December 3rd was going to be the date for that. Do we have an update on Youth Haven, or you can get back to us? I didn't prep you with these questions. It's just as you were given the report, it kind of sparked something with me.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Nuttall, I don't have an update on Youth Haven, but I can definitely get back to you on that.
Okay, and the point I just wanted to make for council is we're hearing there's 50 folks still living inside of tents around the city, but what you hear is there's 40 beds coming through Tiffin Street. And when the Heart Hub is fully operational as a Heart Hub and not as a Youth Haven facility, there's another, I think, 24 beds. There we go. Ward Councillor knows. There's another 24 beds there. So technically, as of today, if everything was operational when we were told it was going to be operational, we would be in a surplus, not a deficit of facility of capacity. So I think that's a good news story. It's a bad news story, it's not done yet, but it's a good news story that the work that we've been doing since, I guess, June, really digging in, is coming into fruition. And on Youth Haven, like the Simcoe County Home Builders Association has done incredible work getting all that together, or maybe it's the Barrie Home Builders Association, one of the two, and tons of volunteered hours, tons of donated dollars to be able to get that expanded and into a much better facility than it was before. Any other questions on this before we? Oh. Councillor Harvey, I've like 3 times gone past you, and I am so sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Through you to staff. Just curious, we've seen the numbers in the weekly updates, and obviously you just provided another update. Who's actually tracking these numbers and ascertaining these numbers? Is this the county? And if so, is this an educated guess, or like how are they able to narrow down these numbers as exact as they seem to be? Because this part of society would be extremely difficult to really hammer down what I would call accurate numbers.
Through Mayor Nettle to Councillor Harvey. Councillor Harvey, the numbers do come through the county's HIFIS system. And so my understanding is the information is shared at each of the different shelters. They log the information, if you will. And that's how those numbers are provided to us. And we have I believe it's a bi-weekly reporting update from the county on those numbers.
Okay, great. And just a follow up to that, is there any tracking that they do on the actual individuals to know that they're moving from point A to point B? And like, I mean, because really we want to make sure that we don't end up with another Milligan's Pond, let's say, where you've got large numbers and obviously causing some environmental issues there. And I know in other municipalities, they've tended to go into smaller groups. So they're a little bit, I guess, more out of sight, out of mind, and not creating such a focus on them because they're in much smaller numbers. Is there tracking on that so they can see where people are going, or is that something that's kind of very difficult to do also, I would imagine?
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor Harvey, I believe they track as best they can. They have they have a dashboard on their website that provides for some of this information. Again, to the extent that they're able to obtain that information from the individuals, they'll be able to track it. But again, to your point, I think it's one of those things that they do the best that they can, considering the resources that they have as well. So,
great, thank you.
Councillor?
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Through you to Mr. Schmidt, just with the 40 beds on Tiffin being noted, I thought it maybe be a good opportunity just to check in on and get some information about, because these are supported beds. Maybe you could speak to who's supporting and how they're being supported, because they're not just 40 beds sitting there. There's actually support, as I understand, from services.
through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor Harris. My understanding, Councillor Harris, is it's a bridge housing program, so the intent at Tiffin is to really look at those individuals that are in encampments and to assist those individuals at that location and provide the supports that are required or that they require. And I will go back to the mayor's comment just to clarify too on the Blake Street and the Hard Hub specifically. So although I believe Youth Haven is occupying approximately half of the spaces, if you will, until their new location or their new accommodation, if you will, is completed. The intent is not to use those 24 units, from what I understand from the county, for homeless specifically, because of the program through the Hard Hub. They don't necessarily want to cause any potential conflicts with those individuals that are seeking support. So it is a conversation that we've had with the county. Again, trying to find as many spaces as we can to assist these individuals, but I'm not sure if that answers your question, Councillor Harris, but the intent is for the individuals that are specifically in encampments today, those individuals would be able to go into these units right away and be provided with supports that are required.
Yeah, I won't press more detail, but so I understand that there will be supports at that site for those people in those 40 beds. So there will be not just 40 beds added, there'll actually be support included with those. So thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I don't think there's any other questions, so that actually brings us to adjournment at 5:54. We'll take a 5-minute break and we'll come back at 6 p.m. Thanks, everyone.